Hi everybody, so this chapter is your capital investment analysis, and what we're actually going to do here is we are going to look at a couple of different investment projects and kind of decide which is the better project to go. So what I have here, this is just from your Exhibit 2 on page 1167, but it's a partial present value of a dollar table. I'm going to show you here the average rate of return and your average investment. And for this project, the company is considering two capital investments. They have a front loader and they have a greenhouse fixtures. And they've given us an estimate of the income from operations and the net cash flow that they're anticipating. Okay, so each one, you notice in the greenhouse, they got $10,200 income from operations. Net cash flow of $22,200 straight through. This one has a different amount of net cash flow, but what also helps us in this situation is both of them have income from operations of $51,000 and net cash flows of $111,000. Okay, so what we need to do first on here is we need to determine our average rate of return. And the project also requires a $60,000 investment. Straight line depreciation will be used for the front loader, the greenhouse fixture, and no residual value. The committee has a selected rate of 12% for purpose of their net present value analysis. Now we need that 12% because that's going to determine which part of this table that we use. So before we get into the present value of it, let's look at what our average rate of return. Now your average rate of return is your average annual income. Both of them have $51,000. If they did not have $51,000 for each one, we would have had to do each of these separately. So what we do here is we take the $51,000, let me put commas there, we take the $51,000, we divide it by the 5 years. So I'll take $51,000, I'll divide it by 5, so that gives me $10,200. So that's also your average investment. Now, average investment is your initial cost. The initial cost for each one was $60,000 plus any residual value. This had no residual value, and we just divide it by 2 because that's how you figure out your average. So this would be the $60,000 divided by 2, your average investment. So take the $60,000 divided by 2. So then what we can do is we can take our $10,200 divided by our $30,000. That gives us a 34% average rate of return if we went with the front loader or if we went with the greenhouse fixture. Okay, we figured that out. Now let's look at, I want to look at your net cash flows. And then we're going to figure out the present value of those net cash flows. Since each month is different, because the front loader we have $35,000 all the way down to $10,000, net cash flow for greenhouse is $22,000 straight down. Well, we decided that we were going to have an average rate of return of 12%. So we come to our present value table, we see the 12%, so that's going to give me I'll just keep on going down because we have different amounts. We need to look at the present value of each of those. Okay, our net cash flows, that is the 35, that is the 32. Notice I'm just getting the net cash flows. The people who are creating this option, they have to give us what the net cash flows are anticipating. And I can copy all those down. Okay, let's add these up. For the front loader, we get $111,000, and for a greenhouse, we also have $111,000. Now we need to find the present value of the net cash flow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my $35,000 from my front loader, and I'm going to times it by the 0.893. My present value of that $35,000 is $31,255. Of the $32,000, the present value is $25,504. I'm just taking my net cash flow that they provided, taking it times that present value. I can do my 10,000 times the 0.636 and my 10,000 times 567, and I'm just going to copy this across as I'm going to. Did not mean to have that part in it, so we'll just do this. We'll make that a top. Okay, well, I want that cleared off. Sorry about that. We try to copy and look what happens. Okay, and let's get these. So then greenhouse fixture, take the 22,200 times the 0.893. Take the 22,000 times 0.797. So you're kind of seeing what I'm doing. I can copy that down. So right now we have total of 85,877 and we have 80,031. That's the net present value of the cash flow. But we need to subtract off that initial $60,000 investment that we have to put in this machine. So we take our 85,877 minus your 60,000. So we have a net present value of 25,877. Your 80,031 minus your 60,000, that gives us $20,031. Okay, so what we have here is just a simple look at if we have to decide between a front loader, we have to decide between a greenhouse fixture, which one is going to be the best one for us. Well, if you look, the present value of the front loader is going to give us 25,877. The greenhouse is 20,031. Even though we still get a 34% average rate of return on both of them, your best bet is to invest in your front loader because it's going to give you, let's just take the difference of these. It's going to give you $5,846 more in net and income for the projects, and maybe later down the road you'll look at the greenhouse fixture. So that's what I have for that one. I'm going to do another video in just a few minutes on another concept. Thanks.